Hello folks, this is Craig Cropper here for a Thursday night show, and it's a cold and rainy night here in Fairview, Tennessee, so we're doing this in the house. Had all kinds of people want to come over and be on the show tonight, but I told them no. Dale Jr., been talking to him all day on the phone. I said, don't come down my driveway, you can't get back up, so I think he's going to stay in North Carolina. A couple things I want to touch on, kind of a sadder note this week. A couple weeks ago, we lost Tandy Marlin, passed away. He was from Harpeth, Tennessee, just south of Franklin. Tandy raced all over Middle Tennessee for most of his life since he was young, and he was a cousin to Sterling. Raced late models at Nashville. He was a fixture there. He raced with ARCA series a few times. He raced at Duck River and Summertown, and just every place. Hohenwald. First time I ever seen him race was over at Hohenwald, and I'm pretty sure he won the race. That's been a long time ago, probably back in the 80s, and he just kind of annihilated the field. I remember that, but we really miss him, and I think he was 53 years old, and I knew Tandy through racing, but I also knew him through his trucking company and lawn care. He hauled materials for me on several jobs that we were doing, and he always reminded me of a little bulldog. He just stocky, and he worked hard, he raced hard, and he played hard. And we just want to send our condolences out to his family and all of his friends. There's so many people at the funeral home that people stood in line for hours and hours just to get through the line. So, and also this week down in Centerville, Barry Rochelle died. He was killed at work, fell through the roof while he's shoveling snow off of the roof. He was 66 years old, and I knew Barry, but I didn't know Barry. I went into Gilbert's Welding all the time, and I think he'd worked there for years. And I talked to him, but I didn't know he had a racing past, and his family was a racer, so I really didn't know that. If I had, we'd have probably been talking for hours and hours and hours. But it was just sad news to hear about his passing this week, and it's one of those things that you don't really think about till it happens, you know. And but his whole family raced. I think he had about 4 or 5 brothers, and they all raced. His oldest brother John raced a ton at Duck River, and he had another brother I think that lived here in Fairview, and he raced late models years ago. So anyway, want to remember him, and just everybody be careful out there when you're working, racing, or whatever you're doing, you know. So we're going to kind of touch base on the Chili Bowl. So we went to the Chili Bowl last week, left on Wednesday, 4 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, and 4 of us went. We got out there and had lunch with my buddy Walt Schilt at the Finish Line Cafe. Of course, it had to be a racing cafe. We ate lunch there with him, visited with him a little while, went on to the Chili Bowl and helped Isaac prepare for for Wednesday night's races. We done okay, and so we raced Wednesday night, and then Thursday morning we went over to the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company, and we was there last year. So it's a company there in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, that works on Auburn Cord Duesenbergs. So they do restoration of these vehicles that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, rare, in the 30s. So they showed us all around that whole shop and was just super good to us. And that's the second time we've been there. Of course, they know us now by our first name, and we really appreciate that. All of us had a great time. We probably spent 2 hours there talking to all those guys, and then after we left there, we went over to Smith Titanium, and they make titanium parts for race cars. And so he showed us all around that place, how they manufacture the bolts, CNC machines, the brake system that they have. And it was just a super good experience seeing how that stuff is manufactured and how racing just keeps on, you know, his titanium stuff is just the next level up. You know, some of our cars are not allowed to run it, and it is expensive, but it is just like the next level of you know, the best you can buy. And so anyway, that was great. If you guys get out to ever go to Chili Bowl or ever go out to Tulsa, you know, make it a point to go see Smith Titanium if you're a race fan, or if you just like old cars, go to the Auburn Cord Duesenberg. You can find it on the internet and on your, just Google it. It's easy to find. But we had a great time there, and then we went back, watched all the racing on Thursday night and Friday night. Saturday was feature day. They started racing 8 o'clock in the morning, practicing, and then feature started, I think, maybe 10 o'clock. And so we transferred out of our first feature and did not transfer out of our second feature. But, you know, Isaac done a good job. We had a great time, and hopefully you represented Big Machine Spike Coolers well. Got some pictures coming of us on the front row. We started on the front row of a couple races, one race, I think. So we had a great time. We sent Kyle Larson back home. Man, he said he was just gonna go back home. He didn't have nothing for us. So anyway, we had a great time there, and we got back home. Dason Pursley came from the D main. Was great to watch him. He came from the D main to 5th in the A main, which was just really an amazing run. You know, it was the racetrack was hard for anybody to pass, but he passed, and he passed a bunch of cars on Saturday, and just amazing run for him. Logan Seavey won it in Kevin Swindell's car, the Victory Fuel midget, and done a great job. And it's second year in a row that he's won. And you know, Kevin just knows how to set the car up, and Logan is just a great driver. And the way the racetrack was, it took rubber, and he just needed to be really smooth and keep the car straight, and that's exactly what he done. And couldn't nobody even come close to him. So it was you know, seen better races. We'd like to see passing. We hope the outside would have been, it had a cushion on it where you could get out there and, you know, people could be busting out on the wall and passing each other, but just wasn't the way it was. So, but it was a great weekend. We seen all kinds of people. You know, Joe Ruttman sat behind us, and I worked for Joe Ruttman years ago. I didn't even see him there. I probably seen him, but I didn't. You see so many people that you don't know. You know, if you don't see him every year, you don't really recognize him. I seen him online where he was there with Bobby Hillin Jr. Ricky Carmichael was there, I think, and just all kinds of, you know, somebody said they seen Wade Buttry there, and I said, no, it couldn't be. Surely it wasn't him, but somebody said they seen him. But anyway, we had a great time, and we want to just think about the two guys that are gone, and everybody try to stay safe. The roads are slick, and we got 8 inches of snow here, and it was 2 below zero the other morning, and I was sick all week after coming back from the Chili Bowl, but I feel great now. And thanks a lot, folks, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.